And how is it going, everyone? Welcome to I Wanna Be the HeavenTrap. And I gotta start by saying that I'm sleeping. So that's not really a good way to start. But you know, I just gotta say that maybe that sleepiness might or might not affect my performance. And nah, that's just an excuse. I mean, probably gonna die quite a lot, but that might not be related to, my sleepiness. Now, as you can see in the save file, in order to... I'm not sure, maybe I'm being really naive here, I'm probably being pretty naive. But what if the boss that I'm fighting against is the final boss? Because usually games that have this save file like this and list the bosses with icons like that, at least the ones that I play so far only have 8 bosses. So following that, this one should be the last one. And also coupling with the fact that in the original I Wanna Be the Guy, that area that we should be in is also the last one. So I don't know if this is gonna be the final boss or not, but regardless of what it is, I have to defeat it. And in order to do that, I have to try hard. And speaking of hard, there is something that I noticed today. I beat... Wow, I just hit my monitor, damn at full speed. No, I was about to say, the original I Wanna Be the Guy, I actually beat it on hard. So, I was thinking that maybe I should have also tried to beat this one on hard. I don't know. I mean, I know that this is not the original I Wanna Be the Guy, so it should be treated differently, but I don't know. I feel that maybe might not have been a bad idea to play it on hard, but there are some sections that I don't know how I would have done it if I played it on hard. I don't know. I just don't like being called a wuss. But then again, even if the game doesn't call me a wuss, is the chat the one that is gonna make sure to call me a wuss, so it's alright. Wouldn't have made that much difference anyway. But yeah, I remember that because I went into my YouTube section of fan games, and obviously the first one is the original I Wanna Be the Guy, and I play that on hard for the blind run. Maybe that's, as one of my viewers was saying, that's one of the exceptions where it is recommended to play the hard difficulty instead of the lowest one. Probably because the original compared to a lot of the fun games is pretty easy. So yeah, it could be because of that. I don't know. But whatever the case is, what I know is that there are some sections that are pretty fucked up if they were in hard difficulty. But I guess that also applies for the original I Wanna Be the Guy. I think it's just that the difference is that I might have more tolerance in the past towards really hard sections. I don't know. It definitely feels like, not just with fan games, but with games in general, seems that I have a little bit less tolerance towards try-harding more and more. Which, I guess it's something that comes with, I don't know if I should say something that comes with aging, or something that just is related to a normal burnout. Also, what the fuck is wrong with Twitch? For some reason, there is a panel that says the bitrate, right? and it's going on and off. I mean, the stream is going fine, but the panel is the one that is not going fine. Jesus, Twitch. I can't believe that after all this years, Twitch still struggles to have a functional web page. Not just for viewers, which is also barely functional, but also for streamers. I mean, no wonder why most people don't even bother with this and just use Streamlabs or whatever third-party program they can use. Jesus Christ, get your shit together. Like, I understand that being a company that provides streaming services, video streaming services, is something that requires a lot of, well, I don't know if effort, it requires a lot of money more than anything else. But like, come on bro, it's the only thing that you do. It's not like this company also does something else. That's literally your only job, so at least you could try to, you know, do it right. And that also, you know, really makes me wonder how useful all those shove requests at big companies like Twitch are. Because, well, I don't know about Twitch specifically, but for example, Discord, when they wanted to recruit more, you know, employees, they were like looking for senior everything, right? Like they wanted people that have a shit ton of experience doing stuff. And I think Twitch might be a really good example of how experience doesn't mean much. Because I'm pretty sure they also recruit only senior employees. Or something like that. More than likely they do that. But it's okay. Not gonna, as I always say, not gonna pretend that I'm the best programmer in the world, but Jesus Christ, some things that you see in web pages. Huh? Wait, what's wrong with this guy? Oh. What? Oh shit, wait, he's starting to shoot randomly? Huh. So that's his last phase? He should start shooting randomly. Alright, well that's useful to know. So maybe then I can start spamming. Also, I gotta say that this bitrate thing in Twitch is being extremely distracting, so I'm gonna disable it. Because otherwise I'm just gonna keep looking at my second monitor thinking that something happened and it's just that shitty ass graph that is not even useful in the first place, because I can just look at my OBS window if I want to see how the bitrate is going. Funnily enough, I don't have many things enabled in my, you know, in my control panel. I think the only useful things here are basically the chat and the event list, right? To see if someone followed, if someone rated, if someone subscribed, whatever, right? Because obviously since I don't have notifications, that's the only way to know. Maybe I should do that, since Twitch provides a way to treat every single panel in the control panel as an individual window. I should probably do that and ignore everything else. Will be a good idea, but not today. It's okay. Now I'm really surprised that with how big of a body this guy has, the only weakness are the eyes. I mean, I understand that receiving a shot to the eyes is, you know, probably pretty, you know, painful. I think it will be just as painful to receive a shot in the mouth or, well, you know, pretty much anywhere else. Especially because I'm supposed to be using a gun. Well, I think I am using a gun. With the amount of damage that I'm dealing, I think that I'm more convinced that I'm using a fucking pea shooter. It's okay. It's okay. Well, that's a lot of black apples. The good thing about the black apples is that they are usually fired at a certain angle where they just can't come back once they bounce for the first time. And I mean, the whole difficulty of these things is that there is a constant bouncing going on. But you know, you just need to dodge the bounce once, and after that you are pretty much free. I mean, free from that one, not from the other ones that he keeps shooting. You know, that's already a pretty nice thing. See, I can't believe how much the fucking stream overlay is distracting me. It's constantly changing for no reason. Do I really have to take off the feed and the chat just to not pay attention to anything else? Well, I guess I could do that. Why not? Yeah, let's do that. Fuck this shit. Alright, there you go. Hey, Mr. Colo, how is it going? Oh, and of course he's always talking about homosexual stuff. That's usual. I think I got used at this point. Oh, wait a second. The chat. Wait. Okay, I just made the chat, you know, a floating window. Let me know if it works. I mean, since you're here, Colo, hey, say something. Say something to the chat. Like, if you want, say that Toho sucks, I don't mind, but I want to see if the chat works. It should. I mean, the only thing that I did... Okay, there you go. Yeah, it works. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason my control panel, they probably updated something that makes it so there are some random movements in the web page for no reason, and they make me check thinking that there was an important activity happening, and no, it's just that web developers don't know how to fucking program a web page. It's insane, but it's okay. That's the problem. You can understand the hate that web developers get, sorry. You understand it, but again, that's not a problem of the fucking programming language, as we were discussing yesterday. Then that was a pretty good discussion. I know that half the chat didn't understand it, but you know, the thing is, it's pretty funny, because usually I don't get to talk about programming with no one. I mean, you know, not even in my workplace, like nobody gives a shit about programming. As long as you can make something work, you know, we're not gonna discuss what's gonna be, you know. Well, I mean, sometimes we discuss what might or might not be the most optimal method, but only if there is an intense resource usage, right? Other than that, we don't really give a shit. So being able to discuss programming with someone is pretty interesting, especially if that someone doesn't agree with you. Makes it even more interesting. And what makes it even more interesting is if that other person is yummy. That's what makes it the most interesting thing. So yeah, talking shit about programming with Yami. I should do a stream solely about that. You know, it will be pretty nice. I mean, nobody will watch it, but you know, who gives a shit? I will be able to talk shit about programming, dude. That's already more than enough to me. And it's especially weird because, you know, the fact that you can always use Discord. Yeah, I mean, in fact, yesterday, before I started the stream, we basically were talking shit on Discord about it. Was pretty nice. Was definitely pretty nice. I'm pretty sure that everyone there hated it because, you know, it's basically like speaking in a different language, right? Nobody will understand what we're talking about. And sometimes that's something that you also kind of forget. And that applies to basically any field, right? Like if I was, I don't know, well, as I always say, if I had a job in chemistry, right, and I started talking about chemicals and all this shit, like I would talk about it as if it was something normal, where in reality it's jargon that most likely nobody will understand. But sometimes you forget about it because you have assimilated it as natural. But you know, I have to remember that it's not natural. Obviously, the definition of natural can be subjective. But you know, JS programmers only talk about how wide they can make a ternary statement and how many times they can call map on an array in a row. How many times they can call map on an array in a row? I don't understand that. I don't understand that last one. How many times they can call map on an array in a row? What are we calling map here? Also, how is it going, Yami? I don't think I understand what you mean by map. Map? I don't know what that method does. What does that method do? It's an array method, but what does it do? Map? I never used it. I don't know what it does. These are thoughts I never be able to understand, at least it's not digs. Well, I mean, usually when talking about programming languages and stuff, it usually ends up being a big measuring contest about which programming language is the... I want to say which one is the best, but usually the conversation degenerates into which one is the least shitty. Because at the end of the day, we can all agree that every programming language has their own faults, right? It's always about bigs. Oh, if you wanna view it that way, so be it. But yeah, what does map do, Yami? Come on, I can Google. I will Google it, but I can't type the A on Google because of the fucking hotkey. What's map? What does it do? Makes a new array after running the function in the argument on each element. A new array after running the function... Oh, wait, what? Okay, let me read it again. A new array after running the function in the argument on each element. So you pass a function on the parameter of map. The callback returns the modified element. Why will you do that? That's pretty. No, that's very. Yeah, I know it sounded like that, but no, I understand now. But why will you do that? That's just incredibly. What's the word for this? It's not ordered. How do you say that? When something is not ordered, it's I mean, it's a mess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's way more clear to do a for loop if you want to apply something to every element of an array. I know that there might be specific circumstances where a for loop might be hard to use depending on where you are, but like, that doesn't seem like it will be easy to read, at least to me. That's what I mean. Well, I'm usually pretty traditionalist when it comes to that. If you can use basic programming statements, you know, if, for, while, switch, all of those simple basic statements, I will prefer those all the time. Every time I can use those instead of some fancy function that, you know, a library or the language itself gives, I prefer that. Okay, good. I mean, obviously there are some functions that are obviously way better to use and not implement yourself, like for example the random function that gives you a random number, right? I mean, sure, you could probably create a random number by calling a date object and applying a lot of algorithms to make that random, but in that case I will just call math random instead of just implementing it myself. But when it comes to things that are about ordering lists and, you know, basically basic functionality that can be achieved without that much work, I will prefer to have something that is readable, which is the reason why I don't like lambda functions. Or, well, I guess that's how they call it. I don't like that because it just makes everything harder to read and harder to debug. Especially in Java. If you in Java use lambda functions, or, well, I don't know if that's how they are called in Java. I think that's how they are called in C#, but the point is, I prefer if you can make something the traditional way without losing performance, or more importantly, without losing readability, I will prefer using that method. The thing is, nowadays, resources such as memory and processing power are things that obviously you don't have to abuse, but at the same time there is, you know, a lot. So when the difference in performance is just the one of a bunch of milliseconds, you should worry about readability always. I feel like that's one of the most important aspects of coding. You can make something that works, you can make something that works optimally, but I think that ultimately what's the most important thing is that you can write readable code. If you can write readable code, even if it's not literally the most optimal, the time that will be wasted changing it is way less than the time that you will waste changing a code that nobody but who coded it can understand. And sometimes not even the person who coded it understands what the fuck they did, especially if it's old code. So yeah, the most important thing is writing readable code first. Then worry about optimization once you have the readable code. And if you think that the optimization hurts the readability, just get rid of it. A lot of JS go hardcore and go like pure functional programming route and treat everything as immutable. Yeah, well, but that's the thing. That's not something that is only... I know that you might think that I'm trying to defend JavaScript like if it was my wife or something like that. No. But the thing is, that's something that is not exclusive to JavaScript. That happens to every programming language. Every single programming language has its share of programmers that code thinking that we are in the 80s and memory is like we have like only 1 megabyte of RAM to run a program. No, that's not the case anymore. We don't have to do everything insanely optimal. Again, at the same time, you don't have to abuse that, but for the most part, some people get upset by the most stupid shit. Like some people, for example, try to argue if it's better to parse a number in whatever language using parseInt, like a functionality built in the language, or using some weird combination of operators to transform a string into a number, right? And it's like, bro, who gives a shit what's the most optimal in that situation when we are literally talking about milliseconds of difference, even less, probably something closer to microseconds. So instead of worrying about that, worry about the fact that when someone reads your code, they know what you are trying to say with that code. Obviously, that becomes a lot more crucial when you're handling files or binary streams, where we are probably talking about heavy pieces of information. In that case, you will probably need to do something optimal that a lot of the times might hurt readability, like for example doing a for loop with a byte array, right? That's something that most people will find hard to read at first glance, but it might be necessary to not make the program really slow. But most of the times those discussions about what's more optimal are about literal microseconds. Like, who gives a shit about literal microseconds, dude? But yeah. Sorry, I know that I'm not really making myself clear for anyone that is not, you know, that doesn't know about the subject. But the thing is, in order to explain what I'm saying for people that are not familiar with programming to understand, I will have to start from the ground up. So, you know, I'm sorry. I do what I can do. It's just that as I said before, I don't have the chance to talk about coding with anyone. I just can't talk with coding about anyone, so when I have the chance, I'll take it. You know? I mean, well, you could probably say, if you like to talk about coding so much, why don't you go to the subreddit dedicated to coding? Or why don't you go to a Discord about coding? Well, first of all, Reddit is trash. And second of all, I don't like joining Discord servers that are not mine, or that are not about my, you know, group of friends, IRL, right? What? You didn't like me saying that Reddit is trash? But it is. Reddit is trash. I mean, I won't doubt, I won't deny that I use it sometimes. But you know, using trash, it still makes it trash. I mean, you know, after all, a lot of people use trash in order to use recycled woods. I mean, even considering that for a second makes me sick. Well, the thing is, well, I mean, Reddit being a piece of trash, I don't think it's really related that much to programming, in the sense that Reddit is trash regardless of the topic that you want to discuss, because it's just a gigantic circle jerk where you can't have a discussion if you have a disagreement, because, you know, it's not made like that. Reddit get me only fun pics and glitches for Pokemon Gold. You can get that in many other places that are not Reddit, you know. Then again, I'm not saying that it's bad that you get it from there, but actually, you know, that's probably the best way of using Reddit. Just getting stuff. Because if you want to have an opinion on Reddit, that's not the place to have an opinion. Because if your opinion goes about the general opinion of the subreddit, yeah, you might even get banned, which is the funniest part about it. You can get banned for having an opinion. So yeah, I will agree with you there. That will be a good use of Reddit, because you just take what you want and then you leave. You don't need to read the dumb shit that people post. You just, you know, take the gold and leave. It's the right way of using Reddit, yeah, I will say. It's unavoidable, a lot of communities are only Reddit. Yeah, I feel that, you know, it is what it is. I mean, sadly, it's not just about some communities being only on Reddit, but it's also the fact that a lot of news that you might be interested on are gonna be first on Reddit, or maybe they are not gonna be literally first on Reddit, but the chances that you're gonna read them first on Reddit are higher than if you go to a random ass forum, you know. Because, for example, when it's about the FGC, right? The FGC is fighting game community, basically, which is, well, as the name will suggest, the community for fighting games, obviously. Well, the thing is, when it comes to news of the FGC, there are only two ways that you can rely on. And they are the worst pieces of shit that exist in the internet, probably, for two complete different reasons, which is basically 4chan and Reddit. 4chan usually gets the news faster. The difference is that it's not a forum made by, you know, with news in mind. So a lot of times you miss it because, you know, it just has a lot of other shit that you don't give a shit about, right? And then you have Reddit, which format-wise is really good for news, but the problem is pretty much everything else. So yeah. That's why not so long ago I was asking if there was, you know, if there was a web page that people could share their opinion without having a circle jerk, but at the same time they don't being absolute bitches, like for example in 4chan, right? That's the problem. Like 4chan has the advantage of, for the most part, not banning, you know, opinions. Well, actually they don't ban opinions, they just ban off-topic things. Maybe there are some exceptions, but the problem is that it's full of assholes, right? And then on the other hand, you have Reddit. Reddit, when it comes to dealing with assholes, is a lot better because usually people that are like the absolute worst don't make it there because they either get banned before that or they, just get downvoted to oblivion so you wouldn't read what they say. Problem is that it's a gigantic circle jerk. So if you're trying to know about something that is pretty subjective, right? You are probably not gonna be able to be informed. It's basically just like watching the news channel in the television, right? You are not gonna be informed. You are just gonna be fed whatever the subreddit wants you to be fed. So yeah, that's the issue. They are both sides are complete trash, but for opposite reasons. So I want a middle ground, but apparently it doesn't exist. That's what really makes me mad, that there is not a middle ground. But maybe it's impossible by principle to have a middle ground, right? Maybe it's just not possible. Because if you let everyone have whatever opinion they want, eventually people that just want to, be assholes and not really do anything productive to the conversation, they are gonna be there and they are not gonna get banned because, that will be against the basic principle of allowing everyone to have a voice. But at the same time, by moderating like that, someone has to moderate. And that someone has its own set of bias, its own set of ideas that, are completely subjective. And even if it's not 100% of the times, there is a pretty big amount of times where that judgment on moderating is pretty instead of trying to be as objective as possible, it's just incredibly personal, and that shouldn't be the case. So I think that what I'm trying to look for, like the kind of site that I'm looking for, just probably doesn't exist. And again, it's probably just because out of principle it's impossible for such a site to even exist in the first place. It's a little bit sad, but it is what it is. Fuck. Damn it. Then obviously you have, places like, social media like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, that I didn't mention because I just assume that we can all agree that they are trash. Mostly because they are focused on people instead of events or, concepts. They are focused on people, and I could give less of a shit about what a specific, person thinks or not. And it's a lot harder to, to get a difference on opinion in social medias like those because of how much they are focused on one person, right? But yeah, whatever. The point is, fuck social media. In case it wasn't clear what the point was. Sometimes I think I prefer not being informed rather than visiting social media. Seems like a good trade. Like a pretty good trade, I would say. Also, can I defeat this boss? It's a question that I've been asking myself for some time. I think I can, but I don't know what's his third phase. Apparently he just throws random attacks without prompt. Like even if you don't hit him, he still shots. And if that's the case, that's gonna be quite a problem. Coming. Okay, this is where he apparently stops shooting and then just randomly summons attacks. So the only way to deal with this is by do the same thing. That's the problem. When he does, yeah, as you can see, it does randomly a lot of shit. You also don't give a fuck about what they say and get what you want from them. Yes, just kill that motherfucking cherubim. This is a cherubim. But you know, I understand what you say, but sometimes what you know, even the headlines of the articles have an opinion in them. In regards to, you know, Reddit, right? Like, I could not give a shit about the comments, but even the headlines and... Well, not just the headlines, that's the thing. The whole content of the subreddit is heavily moderated to fit a specific opinion, right? You can't avoid saltiness. I mean, no. With that thing, no. I just can't. I mean, how can I not get salty when the circle shark is so blatantly obvious? It makes me want to... It doesn't matter what it makes me want to do, but the point is, yes, it makes me salty. And sometimes you really wish that you could have a death note, but instead of writing names, you should write usernames. Well, that will be pretty nice. Now, obviously, you know, that will probably pretty, you know, extremist. But then, sometimes when I read the stupid shit that some people say, it's like... really makes me want to stop browsing the internet. Well, and I do. Like, when I read something that makes me really salty just by reading it, I usually just turn off the browser and try to get some time to cool off, and then after a couple minutes I will go at it again. Funnily enough, I usually only browse my internet on when I'm at work. So, you know. At the very least, it's not the whole day. That will be way worse. That's, I feel, why things like streaming are so therapeutic, I guess, if you wanna call it that way. Because you just focus on games nothing else. But at the same time, you have people to talk to. Well, you know, I really like that a lot. Definitely, well, probably the only reason why I stream in the first place. I think at some point, and in fact if you read the description below, at some point I kinda wanted for this to be, you know, my shop at some point, right? But then I think of it like, not really, because if this was my show, I will have to take it seriously. And taking seriously something that is inherently therapeutic is like a pretty bad idea. So yeah, I don't think I prefer that. Because, you know, it's just not gonna be the same. I prefer it to do it this way. I mean, after all, as long as my company doesn't, well, the company that I work at doesn't go bankrupt, I will pretty much have guaranteed show with a pretty shitty pay, yes, but you know, a shitty pay is better than no pay. So I think I can deal with that, especially if it's gonna be home office, because after all these lockdown restrictions are gone, that's basically the final test. Will these people at my company understand that home office is the way to go? Well, we will see that. And if that's the case, if they do understand, I think I just can stop worrying. Because, you know, even if coding, you know, programming is not exactly what I enjoy doing, I don't hate it either. I mean, I just don't well, no, that's the thing, it's not like I don't prefer it, it's just that, you know, just like any work, it obviously becomes tiring. But, you know, it could be more tiring. Hey young LR, how is it going? I'm doing pretty fine. I'm fighting, I guess, this gigantic version of myself with red eyes. It seems to be a tough one, but we are trying our best. I will work at home for life with my new show and I couldn't be happier about it. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if I can get guaranteed that after the lockdown I will work from home, I don't need to worry about anything else. That's what I need to know. And until the lockdown ends, I won't be able to know. And again, the lockdown is probably never gonna end when it comes to, you know, going back to the same properties, well, the same things that we done before. So I'm assuming that any show that can be done from home is gonna, you know, remain like that, because there is no reason for people to expose themselves with something that could be done remotely. Obviously, that's also wishful thinking, because, you know, a lot of people don't really act by what's logical, but rather, you know, what their pocket says. But I feel like that's even more of a reason for us to work from home. If the problem is the money that you have to spend, working from home is clearly the best solution for everyone. Both the employer and the employee. Because the employer doesn't have to pay for, doesn't have to pay the rent or the equipment for, for people to work from home, and at the same time the employees don't have to waste money on transportation. So it really is one of those win-win situations. There is no downside. I mean, a lot of people will try to argue that the fact that you have less control over employees is a downside, but the thing is, you never have full control over your employees anyways. By the time that you are not looking at their screens, they are already browsing Instagram, Facebook, or whatever shitty social media they use, so no matter where you are, you will never control what your employee does 24/7. So it's just pointless to make them go to an office that, will do nothing. But the people that we have to convince about that are people that are pretty old normally. They have pretty traditional values, and sometimes that doesn't allow them to see the best option, but hopefully they will understand. The interesting part is that in the last pattern here, he starts shooting regardless of if I shoot or not, which is different from the rest of the fight. And the thing about that is that having the red apples prompt at any time is really dangerous. Because that basically means that, I mean, they are really hard to dodge. They are by far the fastest projectile in this whole boss fight. And you have to dodge a row of them. So when he starts shooting them at you without any warning, I think that's really hard to deal with, and that will probably be my biggest obstacle here. So I think this is something that will be down to RNG. So if I have good RNG and he doesn't spawn the red apples in the final phase, I might be able to defeat him pretty easily. I mean, obviously I'm not saying that the red apples are the only thing killing me, because that's clearly not the case, but they are definitely my biggest cause of death, I'm pretty sure. So, we will see. Also, there is something pretty interesting that I say yesterday that I was absolutely wrong about. Remember that the boss before this one was an Idol Master boss? And remember that I mentioned that Idol Master had a competitor called Cinderella Girls? Well, I was completely wrong. Cinderella Girls is the name of an Idol Master game. The competitor for Idol Master is called Love Live, I completely forgot about the existence of that thing. But yeah, that's the name of the competitor, not Cinderella Girls. It's basically like saying that the competitor for Microsoft is Windows. That's basically how stupid my statement yesterday was, because I didn't remember the name of the competitor. But yeah, it's that one. And apparently they are both pretty popular. So it seems like they are slowly decreasing in popularity. I think the whole idol stuff, at least the, you know, the 2D idols are slowly being replaced by virtual YouTubers. So, you know, I don't really think it matters what's the competition or no, because I don't think those things are gonna be around for too long. But you know, you never know. Maybe they will be around for many years to come, but it's impossible to know. I can't read the future after all. So that will be a pretty nice ability to have, that's for sure. Yeah, sadly I cannot do that. Apparently they also have, as I said yesterday, a gacha game. There is something that one of my viewers mentioned today in my Discord, and he is right. The fact that gacha games, I mean, regardless of the quality or anything, they have a pretty big downside, which is the fact that if the servers go down, you have to say goodbye to all of your progress, everything that you done, and if you were dumb enough to spend money, you have to say goodbye to that money that you spent, because you obviously are not gonna get refunded. And most importantly, you have to say goodbye to the game. So yeah, that's something that a lot of times we forget about gacha games. That's something that, you know, it's definitely pretty possible. In fact, it already happened in multiple occasions. The fact that the server, you know, gets taken down because the company is not making enough of a profit from that game, right? So they are like, you know what, pull the plug, run with the money while you can. And that's, you know, it sucks. It's inevitable as well, but you know, it still sucks. At least if they have the decency to, once they, you know, once they close the servers, they could give you an offline application that has all the functionalities that the original one had, but without connecting to a server. But obviously that will require additional effort and additional budget just to release an offline you know, version. So there is no reason for them to do that unless, you know, they have a pretty big moral sense. But you know, companies having a big moral sense is, you know, a fairy tale at best. So yeah, you know, that ain't gonna happen. But it's okay. I mean, there is also the fact that You don't play a gacha for the rest of your life. Well, maybe some people do. But what I'm trying to say is that usually when you play a gacha, you just play it until you got enough things and you get bored of it, and then you drop it for either another gacha or just, you know, another game, right? So I don't think it's, you know, that bad, but at the same time it's something that for people that really like a specific gacha game, they are completely boned. We don't even need to think about gachas here. There is a genre where this might be even worse, which is MMOs. MMOs have the same problem as gacha games have in that regard. The fact that if the server closes, say goodbye to everything that you farm for. You know, it's the sad reality of online-only games. Though at least I guess with MMOs, you know, some people can just create private servers, like for example what happened with World of Warcraft, that has later been taken down by Blizzard, but at least you know that it's technically possible. You know, that's something that it's something. Pretty sure that gacha games are just way more vulnerable just because of the platform that they are in. Okay, here is when he starts shooting random shit. So it's full speed killing here. Sometimes I can't really even shoot because I have to focus solely on dodging. Of course, it had to be one hit away. Because if it was 2 hits away, it wouldn't be the same, right? Nice! Really like to see that happening. But it's okay, don't worry about it. If anything, that tells me that this is completely doable. I don't have to worry too much about the fact that it might take a while because, you know, just needed one more hit. Obviously it's a pain in the ass to die when you're literally 1 hit away, but you know, not much that can be done. I mean, I didn't even get greedy or anything. I just died to a red apple because I needed to land on the floor and the red apple was already there. It's okay, don't worry about it. I promise that I will defeat this boss. I don't know if I'm gonna defeat it today, but I know that this boss is gonna die. I mean, that's how it has to be, right? When you are 1 hit away from killing a boss, you know that you have to kill him. So that's also a dangerous path to take, because a lot of times getting 1 hit away is a matter of luck, and if you have that mentality of keep going until you defeat him, you can be getting stuck for quite a long time. But I think that's the case with bosses that are pretty RNG heavy, and while this one is pretty, it has a lot of RNG, the RNG doesn't really affect your ability to dodge, because the bullets, well, the projectiles are slow enough that you can react to them. So even if everything is RNG, you can still deal with it. Obviously, some attacks might be harder, some attack combinations might be harder, but I don't think that's particularly a problem. I mean, eventually they all fall the same way. Pretty important here to look at what he's about to shoot, so that way you know how to react to it. Because I feel like a problem that I'm having with this fight is that I'm looking too much at what my character is doing instead of looking at what pattern it's about to happen. And considering that every pattern has a specific color, it's perfectly reactable. I feel that, you know, I should use that in my favor for sure. So I feel that when he starts with the red apples, I should preemptively jump just so I can misdirect them. The problem is that sometimes I'm also in the middle of dodging a pattern. So as much as I would like to preemptively jump, I really can't. Some other times I'm just too slow to preemptively jump. But, you know, we will see. Yeah, but I don't know how useful it will be to do that. Because most of the times you could corner yourself even worse. Maybe something that I could do is constantly jump. So when you're constantly jumping, you are obviously gonna preemptively jump on a red apple. The issue being that you also have to deal with every other pattern. And those were like 6 black apples in a row. That was pretty impressive. That was also pretty impressive. Alright. Man. 1 hit away. I really hate to see that happening. 1 hit away. Not 2. Not 3. No, 1. Uno. Yes. 1 hit away. But I guess that at this point, being 1 hit away happens so many times that I think that sadly enough I got used to it. Like sadly enough I feel like I got used to that. Okay, I think that a good idea here is to always jump regardless of the pattern, and then after that, don't shoot. That seems to be the best idea, because that perfectly allows you to dodge these red apples. And at the same time you don't have to react to the attack, because the preemptive jump is gonna make sure of that. Now obviously here, the patterns on this second phase, they are not really something that you can cheese. This is basically just pure dodging. Well, pure RNG and pure dodging. They are not particularly aimed. they are not particularly controlled. So it's just about reacting to it. No cheese available. I think the most dangerous attack in this phase is this one, the blue and yellow one with the curvy trajectories. Not because it's particularly hard to dodge, but because the RNG can make it so you can get really easily cornered. Funnily enough, I didn't die to it, but you know. You get my point. I think I hurried a little bit there. The problem is that I don't like being so passive in these first phases. But if you want to make sure you don't die, it's definitely the best way. But at the same time, I mean, obviously, when I say make sure, I don't mean have a guarantee that you won't die. I just mean, you know, playing it safe. It's no guarantee at all. Especially with so many deadly combinations possible. And some of those combinations are not even within two different patterns. Some of those combinations are in one pattern. Like for example, when those light blue apples don't give you a gap in the place that you are standing at, that can become pretty dangerous to deal with. Alright. Something interesting is that the black bullet gets fired in almost immediately, it seems. So you cannot redirect it like you can do it with the red one. Pretty interesting. That was close. That was also close. I think this is the time where I should have to... No, not yet. I think it might be now that I have to go balls. Yeah, I have to go crazy here. Crazy balls. I mean, you should have to go crazy here. Because he's gonna go just as crazy. You have to go crazy with him. Got him! There you go, Jesus. This fight, I think it took 2 hours total. Whew. Get on. Huh. Escape? What you mean escape? Uh-oh. I don't like that. Well, there is a save here. Oh, shit! Hello? Alright, well, we went from one boss to the other pretty quickly. Is this a Pokemon? No, this is not a Pokemon. Who is this? I wonder who this is supposed to be. I can't recognize it. I wonder who he's supposed to be. Maybe from a Kirby game? I don't know, it really doesn't look familiar. Well, he has some Danmaku. How do I damage him by the... Oh! Infinite jumping! And I really like when games have infinite jumping, but they never tell you, right? Like they, you know... They make you guess that they have infinite jumping. Alright. That's fine. Well, this is one of the things that is already pretty different from the original I Wanna Be the Guy, since, you know, the original definitely did not have infinite jumping, but you know, I don't mind. I like infinite jumping a little bit. I'm not gonna say that I'm the biggest fan of infinite jumping, but you know, it is the way it is. I wonder if this is the final boss. Usually, well, for the games that I played so far, when you have infinite jumping, it usually is the final boss, but we will see. Beelzebub himself? Huh. Which one? Because, you know, there are lots of those. You have one of them in Ragnarok Online, you have one of them in Devil May Cry, you have one of them in, you know, pretty much, well, in Digimon, you have one. So, you know, I don't know which one it is. Beelzebub himself. I don't think Kirby has that, right? I mean, Kirby has its own abominations, but I don't think it has Beelzebub. Then again, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it properly. Is it Beelzebub or is it Beelzebub? I always pronounce it Beelzebub, but I'm assuming that, considering that there is a double E, maybe it is Beel instead. I don't know. Then again, that's a, you know, mythological creature, so I don't think the pronunciation is that important, right? I mean, it's not a real word, it's a proper name. Well, that's pretty interesting. So there is one attack, which is this one that is literally impossible to dodge on the top. Alright. I guess I shouldn't shot him in between rounds. So every time he stops a pattern, I should, instead of going after him immediately, just chill on the bottom. I could do that. This one might also be pretty hard to, yeah, since the bullets are coming from the top. I don't know where it's from, but it's commonly referenced fan game boss. I see. Well, the thing is, I don't know where it's from, but you know, it seems cool. Well, I mean, here's the thing. This type of bosses, this type of sprite work is pretty common in JRPGs. Now the problem is, when we talk about JRPGs, it's like we are talking about, you know, something really numerous, right? Like, I'm pretty sure it's literally impossible to know which character is from which RPG unless you already played it or you Google it, because the amount of JRPGs don't allow you to guess, which is not the same thing in other genres. Other genres, you might not know where a character is from, but you don't have those many options. So, like, for example, if there is a fighting game character that you don't know where it's from, there aren't really many fighting games to pick from. So you can kinda give a really wild guess, and you might be right. Like, you might be like, this one is Street Fighter, right? And maybe you are right. And even if you are not right, you can still, you know, you don't have those many options to play with. But JRPGs are just way too numerous. There are just too many of them. Okay. So what's your second phase? Okay, the same one but red. Oh, well, will you look at this. We have an authentic Danmaku fight. Can I hit you? Because I have the feeling that I can't. Wait, what's this pattern? Oh, the bullets are moving. I didn't realize. This is an authentic Danmaku battle. Batoru. Wait, I'm not dealing any damage. Do I have to aim higher? Maybe I needed to aim higher. I think I need to aim to the eyes. Wow. And you have to do both phases at once. Well, I mean, I kinda expected that, in all honesty. It was to be expected. Well, that's gonna be a pain in the ass. But, you know, I done worst, so don't worry about it. Though we're gonna be here for a while. So thankfully you like whatever song this is supposed to be. Well, there are 2 songs for each phase. Yeah, I think the hitbox might be in the eyes. Like, it's not the face or the head itself, it's the eyes, I think. Or maybe... yeah, it's definitely the eyes. I think it's definitely the eyes. Fuck. Maybe when that attack comes, I should stay put. Instead of trying to challenge him like that. Alright. This guy is an a-hole. Okay. I think the worst part about this is the fact that the second phase doesn't have any floor. The problem of not having any floor is that if you dodge too close to the ground, well, to the non-existent ground, you will most likely die. But sometimes it seems that you might be forced down there. So it's a little bit fucked up, but you know. At least this is legitimate Danmaku, with actual Danmaku bullets instead of fucking apples. So I already prefer it. Still gonna be challenging to deal with, but I'm sure we will be able to do it eventually. Now, I thought that this was supposed to be a HeavenTrap. Why are we fighting against a guy that comes from hell? Maybe in order to go to heaven we need to go through hell. So, it seems that I wasn't misaiming last time. It's just that he seems to not get hit during that attack. It seems like the bullets are blocking his hitbox here. I think that's what's happening. Yeah, it seems that they are. That's weird. Because apparently the bullets themselves are just bullets. Like, I'm pretty sure they don't have any value other than being bullets. Like, you know, damaging. I don't think they have a hitbox to absorb hits, but I don't know. Maybe they do. But if that was the case, I wouldn't be able to hit him through most of the patterns, so that's probably just that specific attack. I don't know. It might be. Also, Yami, since you are such an Idol Master fan, can you tell me what's the song that played yesterday on that avoidance? Because I want to listen to it, but I don't know, I tried to use random words that I heard and none of them seem to yield any good results. And since you are an Idol fan, I'm like, you know, what a better thing to ask Yami. I mean, I know that you still prefer Hatsune Miku and everything, but you know, I'm unfortunately not enough of a degenerate to know the answer. I want nothing to do with idols. I don't know. I mean, isn't Hatsune Miku pretty much an idol? A different type of idol, but I think you can consider Hatsune Miku an idol. What about that? Jesus, that was close. Damn it, I'm pretty far. Come on. There we go. Those bitches have infested my fan games for years. Yeah, but the same can be said about Touhou, and you love Touhou. Well, I mean, not now, but I mean, at some point you really like Touhou. Why don't you have the same bias against Touhou? Well, I mean, again, now you have the bias, but you only have the bias after playing it. So, why would it be any different? Oh, fuck. Nice, look at that dramatic slowdown, just to see the death faster. I mean, slower. Miku is trash as well. You know, this is coming from the guy that owns Project Diva Future Tone on the PS4, right? Like, for those who are not aware, that sentence, Miku is trash as well, is coming from the guy that owns a Project Diva game in the PS4, right? They should stole the Sons and Bullets price. I think I've seen more idols than Touhou's. Okay. Well, that's a reasonable answer. But you know, I still feel that maybe you should try it. I mean, just the same way you tried Touhou and Hatsune Miku, you could probably try Idol Master 2. It's also a game, and I'm pretty sure the gacha is free, and if you don't want the gacha, you can probably play the arcade at some port in some console. So, you know, you can give it a try. I mean, if you gave Miku and Touhou a try, why not Idol Master? Right? I think they deserve a try too. I mean, I'm not saying that you have to become the #1 Idol Master fan, but you can just give it a try. Last thing I wanna do is press buttons to the beat. And this is coming from a former Osu player. Man, Yami is like, at some point of his life, he grabbed his current self. He did, like, you know, the Shang Tsung style, basically took his soul off and then throw it to the trash bin, basketball style. Damn, do you really hate your past self that much? Like, jeez. That's a lot of hatred. But it's okay. I mean, it ain't my business. But it's still pretty interesting to know. It definitely is. You still could give it a try, right? I mean, why not? I feel like you could give it a try. Huh. Damn it. You know, the thing about this, these things where you, these infinite jump sections, is that, as I mentioned multiple times, it's a lot about, you know, coordinating between the jump and the shoot. And that can become pretty hard to do. Essentially because you're still floating in the air and you have to control that. So, you know, it's something that can be really hard to do. At least on this one, you don't have to, you know, you dodge from, you dodge bullets that come from the same place, which is in this case the boss. You don't have to dodge things that come from beneath you or you know, from behind you. I'm telling you, like it comes from only one direction, is what I'm trying to say. Well, I mean, this one comes from above instead from the boss itself, but you know, it is still not something that is that hard to deal with. Okay. So the thing is, the first phase isn't that bad, and I think the second phase, unless there is like a final attack, doesn't seem to be that bad either. So I think it's most of a thing about not fucking it up than anything else, really. It's all about that. Gotcha. But yeah, like for example here, there are some attacks that are just not that bad, but at the same time, since you don't have a floor like in the previous one, they can prove to be pretty difficult. Because you are most likely gonna have to dodge from this, well, this or this side. But you really wouldn't be recommended to dodge from here. Usually because the longest distance from the bullet to your character is diagonally like this. So not only here you're risking hitting the floor, which is an insta-death, but you're also not as far from the bullets as you will be here, so you have a little bit less time to react. So dodging from the side can be a little bit of a confusing task, right? I managed to spit my the shelf of my desktop. Nice. But it's okay. It is what it is. This also could probably be a lot faster. Like, I could probably speed kill this guy if I risk a lot more, but there are some of these attacks that, like this one, where you can still damage the boss, but you're risking too much by standing here. Because if a fast bullet spawns right where you are, you're gonna die. You probably won't be able to react in time. Like, well, that wasn't even a fast one, but I just was unlucky enough to jump at the same moment that that bullet spawned. But yeah. Well, I really wonder though how long it will take me to reach this place if I pick the hard difficulty. Because obviously the bosses are the same, right? So, you know, the bosses being the same means that you're not gonna take more time on a boss, but you're obviously gonna take more time in platforming sections. I really wonder, on those platforming sections, how long will I have taken if I played on hard? Which is something the same thing that I wonder about I Wanna Be the Guy. How much will it took me to beat that game if I played in a lower difficulty, right? You never know. I mean, I could replay the game, but the thing is, it wouldn't be a blind playthrough anymore. That's the question. In a blind playthrough, how will it change, right? To play one difficulty or the other. That's why I'm really glad that people, fan game creators, have decided to ditch difficulties in favor of having only one difficulty. So that way you don't have to worry about what would have happened if I picked this, or feeling that you didn't really beat the game because you beat it in a lower difficulty, right? So yeah, I'm glad that that's the thing. Then again, the whole difficulty concept is something that spawned from the very first, from the original I Wanna Be the Guy. So I wouldn't really blame the fan game creators for incorporating difficulty options in their fan games, because they are basically just emulating what the original one did, right? So it makes sense. But I definitely prefer it if there is no difficulty selection. Though at the very least, in most of these really early fan games, the difficulty selection, the only thing that changes is the placement of the checkpoints, right? So by doing that, you're not really changing the core of the game. Like, the platforming is the same, the boss patterns are the same, but, you know, you might still take longer to beat it because of the fact that, you know, you might struggle more in the platforming sections. But there are other games, like for example Boshi, where the difficulty doesn't just change the checkpoint location, but it also changes the boss behavior. I don't know if it's the behavior itself, but it definitely changes the health. So in hard mode, the bosses have a really big amount of health, right? In easy mode, in fact, they have a really small amount of health. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. But as I say, I definitely prefer if a fan game doesn't have any of that. the fun game is choose one difficulty, and that's it. Choose one difficulty. And with one difficulty, everyone will be happy. Because the thing is, usually in normal video games, in other video games, the purpose of difficulty selection is the fact that less skilled or, people with less practice can enjoy the game the same. I'm pretty sure that regardless of, the amount of checkpoints that you have in a fun game, it's gonna be just as hard regardless of that if you just started playing them, right? Like, it really doesn't matter if you play on easy or no, you're probably gonna struggle the same. So yeah, that's why I feel that difficulty in fun games is not really a good idea. But it's fine. I think that dodging in the corner here is definitely the wisest idea. Definitely the wisest idea. I still don't know why you can't damage this thing on that pattern, but whatever. Let's see if he has something else when he reaches halfway through the fight. Well, I don't think I got halfway. I think I got maybe 52, 53%. I don't think that's 50%. That's a little... Well, it's pretty easy to know. I'm pretty sure you can take half of the screen by his hat. I'm pretty sure the hat that he's wearing is literally half the screen. So if we take that as as a reference point, then he probably had 52% of health remaining. Really wonder if once he goes below 50, if he's gonna have anything different. Hopefully not, but it's impossible to know until we see it. Damn it. This guy. I pretty much saw, I think, most of the bosses in this game in the preview of the delicious fruit page, right? Isn't that a really bad thing? I mean, I feel that you're basically spoiling the bosses for free. I understand that having previews of the game is pretty nice and everything, but like, shouldn't you exclusively put preview of the first bosses instead of putting what is probably the final boss in there? I don't feel like that's a really good idea. And even if this is not the final boss for whatever reason, it's still a pretty late boss. I feel like a late boss like this one should not be in a preview image. Also, I don't know how I survived that bullet right before it disappeared, but I'm glad I did. The problem is that sometimes, when you're not really combined by either the difficulty rating or the score rating on Delicious Fruit, you always want to see a quick sneak peek of the game. But the problem with that is that, you know, if you're gonna get spoiled like this, it's not really that worth to check the preview images. But then again, it's a spoiler in the sense that it shows you what you will see, which is probably something, you know, that might not be considered a spoiler by a lot of people. Because, you know, spoilers are basically things that ruin a story for you. So, showing a boss, even though, you know, it's something that you probably wouldn't want to do, it's still something that will probably not be considered a spoiler, but I feel like there should be more regulation there. You can just upload the image of the final boss. Obviously, before you play the game, you will have no idea that it's the final boss, but still, you already know what to expect. Like you know that you're gonna expect a boss that looks like that, right? I think that's the biggest problem. It ruins the expectation. Come on. There you go. Okay. I really feel that if this second phase didn't have that attack that for some reason blocks your bullets, this will definitely be not that bad. That attack is really fucked up because of blocking your bullets just like that. Well, then you have this attack that he shot right there, that basically forces you to go down, which also means that you essentially cannot damage him. But I think this phase is more hard for the fact that you can barely deal damage, rather than the fact that it's hard to dodge the patterns. I will even say that the patterns in this phase seem to be a little bit more aggressive than the ones on the other phase. But you know, here you can shoot the boss at any time, so that already is miles better. Where is that? Fuck. Pretty interesting, because if you have a bad placed jump, the recovery is gonna be, you know, pretty non-existent, because you will be suspended in the air. That's why I will wish that a lot of these infinite jumping areas were instead, you know, like pure Danmaku sections, right? So that way, instead of jumping in the air, you move in the air. Obviously that will take away the difficulty, but you know, I think that it's a lot more enjoyable to be able to perfectly move around than it is to jump in the air. But I guess at that point, if you want something like that, you will just go play a Danmaku game instead of complaining about it in an I Wanna Be the Guy fan game. Whew, that was close. Also, damn, I'm still pretty sleepy. Usually when I start the stream sleepy, by the end of it I don't feel that sleepy, but I gotta say that I'm pretty sleepy still. Maybe it's because I'm fighting the same boss for some time now. including the previous one that I also fought him for quite some time. That's probably the case. But it's okay. Don't you worry about it. Come on. Fuck. Well, I was saying that the patterns are not as aggressive there, but it really depends. It depends a lot on well, the RNG that you get. And I think he only has 3 attacks in that phase, right? Like, he has the attack of those bullets that move quickly and then they get released. Then he has the attack of the gigantic circles that force you to go down. And then he has the attack of the circle in the middle that makes you, you know, dodge complete RNG. It's interesting because 2 of those 3 attacks heavily limit your possibility of dealing damage. That's definitely pretty nice. By nice I mean not nice. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the case. He has a lot more attacks in this phase. I think he has 6. He might have 6, or around there at least. Maybe. I don't know. You never know. Well, I wonder if this boss is gonna take me longer than the other boss. When I say the other boss, I mean the previous one. I don't know. Fuck, I thought I was gonna make it. I didn't. Alright. Yami still has not corrected me if this boss is supposed to be pronounced Beelzebub or Beelzebub. I never heard that word being pronounced actually. Like, I only seen it written. I never heard anyone pronounce this word. Well, I heard the Japanese pronounce this word. And they say Beelzebub. Well, I mean Beelzebub. Something like that. But, you know, I don't think the Japanese are a good standard for English pronunciation, so, you know. All the way down. I also don't know where this guy comes from. I know that he's a mythological creature, right? I understand that, but from what mythology? Which one? The Nordic one? I don't know. Definitely not the Egyptian one. That's what I know. And I remember when in high school they made me study the fucking Egyptian gods. There was literally a signature, obviously history, where you had to memorize the Egyptian gods. Like, imagine if you were a teacher in high school and you force your students to study Japanese gods. Imagine if they had to memorize, you know, Susano, Izanami, you know, all those fuckers. Imagine that. That would probably be not too nice to see, in all honesty. Probably not. I mean, I wouldn't mind because I'm a fucking weeb, but I mean, imagine everyone not interested in Japan to learn all those really difficult names. Because, you know, at least the Egyptian gods had, as far as I remember, pretty short names, right? But some of the, you know, of the Japanese ones, not so much. Oh yeah, can you imagine that? Being a teacher in high school and forcing your students to learn Japanese gods? That would probably be a bad idea. Most likely a really bad idea. I mean, I couldn't show. Let me show. There you go. Wait, really? What did I die to? Did I reach the bottom? I might have reached the bottom. That was weird. I mean, fuck this guy, dude. You and your wings, and that long dress, and those horns. Fuck all of those. Well, the positive thing is that, well, according to Yami, this is, you know, a pretty common boss in other fun games. So at least, I guess, we are witnessing history. Which, you know, it's one of the main valuable things that you have with these classic fun games. Because, you know, a lot of people lack originality, and instead of doing their own bosses, they just reference others. But it's okay. I mean, I also lack originality anyways, so I definitely don't blame them. I also wonder if this... I think these bullet sprites are from Toho, but I'm not sure because... I mean, the fact that they are colorful and they have that circular shape makes me think that these projectiles come from Toho. But I don't know. I wouldn't be completely sure. Mostly because I feel that this is the first resource that is used straight from the Toho games. In this game, that is. You can get some pretty nasty patterns if you get unlucky there. Doesn't give you enough time to go all the way up and shoot. Well, sometimes it does. I think it's also random the amount of time in between patterns somehow. I don't know why that's random. I also don't know why I jumped so early. That's usually a problem that I have. When I'm going down, I'm having the issue that I'm jumping early, so when you jump early like that, you basically kinda like lose control of the rest of the bullets that you might have been able to dodge, right? Well, at least I gotta say that the music is nice. So there is that. Why did I go up there? God damn it. Now that I think about it, you know, I was thinking, where does the original I Wanna Be the Guy gets most of the difficulty from? And I think the original I Wanna Be the Guy is way more about the platforming than it is about the bosses. I think a lot of the bosses in I Wanna Be the Guy, except for the last one I guess, can be really not that challenging at all. But you know, in terms of platforming, it seems that it's way harder. And if I have to analyze this game, I feel like this game is... Well, then again, I don't know if this is the final boss or not. I assume that it is, but if it is the final boss, and if that second phase is his last phase, then I don't know why this game has a 60 of difficulty. That's why I doubt that this is the final boss, because if this is the final boss, I don't really find this game harder than I Wanna Be the Guy. Maybe it's because I play I Wanna Be the Guy in hard difficulty instead of normal like I'm doing with this one. Maybe if I played this game on hard difficulty, it will also be pretty close to the original one, but I don't know. Definitely don't feel like the original one is that hard. I mean, that this one is that hard compared to the original one. Yeah, I don't know. So that's why I say that I'm probably missing a boss, or I'm probably missing a phase of this boss. Because if that second phase is the last thing that this guy has, that's definitely not that hard. I know that I still haven't been close to defeat him, so I probably shouldn't be talking yet. But you know, I think it shouldn't take me that much to do it. Especially with the first phase being so quick. I mean, what? Excuse me? Explain, please? What was that? I got instantly killed. By nothing. Hey Yannick, how is it going? Go Gabby. You will be cheering for a pretty long time here, because I can tell you that this boss might take some time. Boss modification between difficulties beside HP are extremely rare. Yeah, I know. Wait, were you answering to what I said half an hour ago? Because that might have been the case. You know, Yami sometimes tells me that his internet is pretty you know, is not the best, right? And a lot of times he buffers a lot, so he basically, you know, watch the BOD to be able to keep up. And when he does that, he answers to something that I probably said like half an hour ago. Though at least I admire the dedication. Maybe. Also, I play Touhou first instead of fan games. Oh, I see. So that's the case. So that's why you don't want to try Idolmaster. It's because it wasn't the fact that you tried Touhou because of the fan games. You already played it before. I see. Well, that basically, yeah, it makes sense. But you still could try Idolmaster. I mean, you know, maybe at one day you're gonna be really bored and you won't know what to do. And maybe what you can do that day is play Idolmaster. Why not? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You becoming an Idolmaster fan? I mean, if you're so worried about that, it's because, you know, you're not really that clear of how much you hate it. Gabby secretly became obsessed with Idolmaster. No, that's not the case. It's just that, you know, not yet. Alright? Maybe sometime in the future, but not yet. We're still not there. But maybe we're gonna get there. But yeah, basically, well, remember that yesterday I was saying about Idolmaster and everything that had a competitor called Cinderella Girls. Well, it turns out that I'm a fucking dumbass. Cinderella Girls is the name of a Idolmaster game. The competitor that I was thinking of, but I couldn't remember the name, is Love Live, which released 5 years later than Idolmaster. So yeah. Though that one is mostly focused on anime instead of the games, I think. Idolmaster is more about the games, as far as I know. Not yet, that's what someone obsessed will say. I don't know, dude. I haven't reached that, you know, that level, I can tell you. So yeah. I will say that for now, we are in the clear. I mean, here's the thing. And one of the proofs that I'm not obsessed yet. I tried looking for the song of that avoidance yesterday and I couldn't find it. If I was really obsessed, I would probably be looking for it the whole day until I find it. But you know, I just looked a little bit and then gave up. But yeah. I really want to know what that song is. I mean, and I'm assuming it's from Idolmaster, and maybe it's not even from that. Maybe it's from somewhere else and the stoners just decide to put Idolmaster in the background. Though I doubt it. You know. I want to know which one it is. Well, maybe if I get a copyright strike on YouTube because of it, I might be able to find out that way. I mean, they already claimed some songs of what was the game called? I Wanna See the Moon, right? No, I think it was I Wanna Reach the Moon. They already claim a couple of songs, so you know. Takatsuki Yayoi Kimera Kirari. Kirame Kirari. How do you know that, Yami? That seems highly specific. I am pretty thankful for that, though. I thought that you didn't know anything about that. How is that possible? Your Google skills are shit. No. Here's the thing. I didn't Google using the name of this game because I didn't want to spoil myself. So that's why I Googled words that I heard in the song. Yeah, of course I could say, put something like, I wanna be the HeavenTrap Idol Master Boss, but I didn't want to spoil myself, I mean. First result, I Google Idol Master characters, I found the cunt, then I Google the name of the character. How the fuck can you figure out which character it is? It's the chibi version of the character. How the fuck did you figure that out? I don't know, dude. I think this story that you're telling me has a little bit of, has some plot holes in it. Are you sure you don't know anything about Idolmaster? Are you sure that you never played it? That you never watched the anime? Are we sure about that? I mean, because one thing is being able to recognize this character where the full sprite is visible, right? Another thing is recognizing a human character that only has a pretty tiny chibi version of it and be like, oh, it's this one. I mean, well, with some characters that's easier to do because their design is pretty distinctive, right? But with a character like that one, I'm pretty sure that that character didn't have anything that would be considered distinctive. And yet you've been able to find it. I don't know, Yami. I feel like there is something that doesn't add up. But regardless of what doesn't add up, I'm pretty thankful for the, information. I definitely will listen to it probably tomorrow while I'm coding. Well, while I'm coding. Most of the time I'm not even coding, I'm just looking at the screen. But it's gonna be great. Still. Maybe that will be the start. Maybe that will be a new beginning. Calling callbacks. Yeah, the start of this stream we also were discussing about, the readability of code. And I was saying, I really wish that more people could understand what the fuck we were talking about, because I think that if it was for me, I will definitely talk all day about coding. But, well, most people don't really know that much about it, and most people, even if they know about it, don't give a shit, right? So that's the thing. It's a topic that it's a little bit complicated to talk about, but it's okay. I hope that maybe I will inspire someone to start learning programming. I mean, programming, as long as it's not your job, it can be pretty fun. I mean, it can be pretty fun if it's your job too, but most times than not, it's definitely not the case. But it can be pretty fun. It has the potential to be fun. It also depends on what kind of things you find fun. I seen some shit code, it makes me sad. Well, I'm pretty sure we all seen some shit code. But sometimes shit code is not really the fault of the programmer itself, himself. A lot of times shit code is the fault of the circumstances, right? Like, for example, having really unreasonable time constraints, or having nobody that gives a shit about the code and they will basically accept anything without any issue. Can identify characters easily based on hair color and nothing else. Dude, I'm pretty sure the character that we're talking about was blonde. And I'm pretty sure blonde hair color is pretty common. And if it wasn't blonde, it was probably... what's the word for this color? Well, brown. I don't know how it's called. Brunette, right? So, you know, those are pretty common colors. Unless I'm a stoner and it actually was a way more rare color, like, you know, light blue or some shit like that. I don't think it was, but maybe it was. But regardless, I don't know. I still think that your story doesn't add up. But it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be alright. I mean, here's the thing. I already accepted gachas, right? With the fact that I'm playing KOF All Stars. Because I feel that it's a good game and I like King of Fighters, right? But you know, I could also give the Idol Master gacha a try. And if that's the case, I don't know what's gonna be of me. Same brunette characters are common in anime when half the bitches have blue hair. I mean, you have a point, but at the same time, it also depends on the anime. Well, yeah, I'm assuming that the kind of anime that Idol Master is, uncommon colors for the hair are probably, you know, way more common. Yeah, you might be right there. You have a point. Imagine if Gabi at some point starts streaming Idol Master Gacha. And you know, here's the thing. I will definitely stream KOF Gacha if it wasn't for the fact that it runs like shit and it crashes every half an hour. Like, you know, that's something that I wouldn't want to stream. I don't mind playing because I have patience for that. But that wouldn't be something that I will really stream. Something that will crash every half an hour, or sometimes even faster than that, and that it doesn't really run at full frame rate. I don't think that's a good thing to stream. But you know, if the Idol Master game can properly run and I end up liking it, I don't know. You might be seeing the birth of a new Idol Master streamer. So, you know, we will see. See, here's the thing. I might be a degenerate, but sometimes even I have my limitations, right? So, what I'm trying to say is, it most likely is not gonna happen, but it's a possibility. But yeah. Well, the game that I will definitely play eventually will be King of Fighters arcade mode. You know, any of them, maybe all of them. But yeah, I mean, I did that quite a long time ago. I basically played every single KOF game with a specific team, well, except KOF 12. Because as far as I know, KOF 12 is Xbox exclusive. And as far as I also know, Xbox emulator is fucking trash. Or maybe not trash, but definitely doesn't have the compatibility that it should. And it probably won't have compatibility with a game that is as unpopular as KOF 12. I mean, even if it was an Xbox exclusive, nobody liked that game anyways. Mostly because it wasn't really even a full game in the first place. Though it had a cool boss apparently. So that's not really saying much. Every KOF game has a cool as shit final boss. I don't think I can think of any KOF game where the final boss is not awesome. I mean, they are obviously hard as shit, but every single one of them. You know, Rugal, Gaines, Orochi, Chrysalid, you know, Zero, Ignis, all of them are amazing. And the ones that come afterwards as well, like, you know, Mukai, Magaki, Nameless, Ash, Psyche, and also Bears. Those are all the final bosses so far. And every single one of those that I mentioned, it's excellent. Obviously, if you fight against them, you're probably gonna get really salty, but I think that should speak of how well they are made. Because there aren't really many fighting games where you fight against the final boss and you are like, this shit is fucking impossible, right? I mean, some of them might take you a little bit to beat, but for the most part, that's not the case. Well, I mean, it might be the case in games like BlazBlue, I guess, but BlazBlue has something that... Yeah, no, I mean, yes, some BlazBlue bosses are really hard, but... I think... I don't know if they are at the same level as KOF bosses, that's the real question here. I wouldn't know. Well, I mean, I will know, but I don't think they are really that comparable. I mean, I'm not that knowledgeable about KOF, but I think that in KOF is not as much of a matchup heavy game, right? As BlazBlue. So with BlazBlue, maybe you can just pick a really, you know, a character that will obliterate the boss because of the playstyle that it has, which might be a bad matchup for that specific boss. You are set. Like for example, in the first BlazBlue game, if you have a heavy rushdown character, you can obliterate the boss pretty easily. If you keep the pressure on, that is. Now if you have a character that is a zoner or a grappler, you're probably gonna get obliterated. Which is something that I don't really think it happens that much with King of Fighter games. Usually in King of Fighters, if you get obliterated with a character, you will probably get obliterated with any other character. Though there are some that have pretty specific tools that can be really useful, and some of them might even cheese the CPU a little bit. But that's more of a fact of, you know, more of a thing of cheese than anything else. Well, obviously I'm pretty sure that any King of Fighter expert can tell me that, you know, you don't know what you're talking about, just pick Ed's character and you can cheese Ed's boss. That could be right, but I feel that it will be a lot less obvious than it is in BlazBlue. Like in BlazBlue, you know that if you pick a character like, for example, Tager, which is a grappler, you will most likely get obliterated if you are playing the first Blaze Blue, where the boss is an absolute sonar that throws projectile from full screen. But yeah. And where is Clone Cat when you need him? We could be having this conversation with Clone Cat and he will be able to correct me. He will be able to tell me, you know, just pick this character and the boss becomes a show. God damn it. I play Smash. Well, that's an interesting mention. Smash has some pretty hard final bosses. Like for example, well, the Master Hand Crazy Hand combination it can be really hard to beat a lot of times. Obviously it's harder with some characters than others, especially the ones that don't have really good mobility. But you know, yeah, I guess Smash will be an interesting topic in the topic of final bosses on fight. Well, if you consider Smash a fighting game, that is, it will be a cool topic. I mean, I remember Taboo, right? Taboo is the boss of Smash Bros. Brawl, the one on the Wii. That boss is a fucking cheap asshole that basically has the potential to kill you in one hit. Literally. So yeah, I guess that's a good example of another final boss that could prove a really good challenge. It's definitely pretty fun, and that's one of the main things that I really like about Subspace Emissary in Brawl. The Taboo boss fight was really, really good. And that guy got blasted. Oh shit! You have to be shitting me! The attacks keep going! Even after you beat this guy, the attacks keep going. That's so cheap. Wow. The worst part is that I dodged one of them. And not the second one because I didn't expect him to shoot another one. Damn, that's being an absolute asshole. Are you kidding me? Was that a bug or was that intentional? Because if that's intentional, that's being an absolute asshole. A complete asshole. Come on, dude. How are you gonna do that? That's fucked up. You know that's fucked up. The most fucked up part is that probably even after I pick it up, I will still have died. Like, I don't think picking it up immediately makes me win. It's okay, don't worry about it. You're gonna get the run back. I did it once, I can do it again. Was going to mention Taboo. If you said the AI to Mats is tough, yeah, it is. What the fuck is T4S? It's thanks for streaming. That's what it means. Damn. I really like how Yami asks these random ass questions that have nothing to do with what's going on. Like, what the fuck are you watching? The yesterday stream? It's pretty funny. It's like Yami is in a different transmission. Basically, he's synchronizing another radio. Motherfucker. But it's alright, Yummy. But yeah, the problem that Smash has with final bosses is that there aren't really those many examples, right? I think. Like, you could mention Taboo and Master and Crazy Hand, and then there really isn't many. There really aren't many final bosses, or at least not that I remember, that are that good. The reason why I was mentioning King of Fighters is because King of Fighters has literally 14 games, and 14 main games, right? And the final boss in each one of them is phenomenal in its own right. Bullshit, yes, all of them, but also phenomenal. That's what truly matters. There are some bosses that are obviously way easier to cheese than others. Like, for example, the final boss in KOF 13, Ash. You can basically spam roll and grab and you will probably win. Because the motherfucker for some reason doesn't know how to deal with grabs. That can also apply to the one in KOF 11, Magaki. You can also spam roll and grab, and for some reason the idiot doesn't know what to do most of the time. On the other bosses though, if you try to spam roll and grab, you're gonna most likely get fucked by one of the multiple, you know, invincible attacks that the boss has, that is probably also immediate as well, with zero startup. I mean, not literally zero startup, but, you know, really little amount of startup. Oh, yeah. Come on, one more hit. Wow. It really takes a lot of effort to be able to have a fucking double KO in the first phase. Especially when the bullets immediately disappear after you defeat him. Like, you know, in the... having a double KO at the end, where apparently he keeps shooting even after you kill him, I will say that it's pretty common. But having a double KO in the phase that basically deletes all the bullets as soon as he dies, that takes some effort to do. Nice ripples. I almost read nice nipples. It's just that ripples is such an unused word that when I read eeples, the first thing I think of is nipples. And it doesn't help that the R is incredibly similar to the N. So it definitely doesn't help. But yeah, it's alright, don't worry. I'm addition, I know. You don't need to remind me. But yeah. Pretty interesting still. Kinda like the U and the B. Oh, that actually reminds me. I might have asked that question before, and I don't think I remember the answer. But basically the question was, how do you differentiate the different B's in English? Because in Spanish, to differentiate both B's, we can say long B or short B, or as it's used lately, we will just call one of the B's differently than the other one. But in English, I'm pretty sure both B's are B. So how do you know which one to type. How do you differentiate? Leveling up your edition levels? Yeah, always. Every day I'm working hard to let that happen. A hard worker, you know? What the fuck was the question? Are you asking that because you didn't hear? Or are you asking that because it was a weird question? The question was, how do you differentiate between both B's in English? That was my question. Me no hear? Okay, well, do you hear it now? Or do you want me to repeat it again? You want it louder? I can do it louder. After all. Well, actually, no. I don't think I could do it louder by tuning the microphone, because I'm pretty sure this microphone is at the top of its capacity. Sadly enough. You know, it's fine. B and B, yeah, exactly. How do you differentiate between those two B's in English? Like, as I mentioned before, you can differentiate them pretty well in Spanish. I don't know how to do it in English. Because I'm pretty sure that in English they don't have different names. Right? I think they don't have different names. Maybe they should do something like they have different pronunciation. But I mean, well, technically in Spanish they also have different pronunciation, but nobody gives a fuck. I mean, everyone pronounces it the same. And I noticed that in English that's also the case. Most people that pronounce the B, they don't really put any difference in the pronunciation. Or at least not any noticeable one. So I'm assuming that at some point there might be one person that is confused about which B to use. So if you had to answer that, if you had to tell one person, oh, this word is written with this B, how will you explain that to them? Well, I guess you could use an example. You could say that you have to use B as in cab, right? Maybe you could do something like that. B's more curling lips, deeper sound at the start. No, like I said, I mean, yes, in Spanish that's also technically the case, but my point is that most people don't really differentiate between them. Like, most people don't really... Maybe in English is different, but I don't know. Everyone that I listen in English, they seem to pronounce the both letters incredibly similar. Like, I don't think I notice a substantial difference. That's mostly why I ask. Yeah, there we go. But, you know, as I say, maybe the solution is saying B as in cave or B as in whatever other word, and then it becomes clear. Yeah, I guess that's how you will do it. That will probably be the appropriate way of doing it. Oh yeah, that might be the case. Well, I guess I answered my own question. Good shit. Yeah. It's a fine. Also, I really wonder if the boss killing you after he has been defeated was a bug. And, you know, like if you're spelling something out. Yeah, right, something like that. Like if you have to tell the spelling of the word, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna give the same example. If you have to say cave, you will say C-A-B-E. But how do you know what B that one is? You literally say the same word for both B's. Or do you just have to guess? We use military phonetic alphabet or just use example. I see. Well, Bravo, X-ray, or choose random words. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, we also do that here, even though we have different names for every single letter. We still do that in case whoever is listening is fucking deaf. We say, like, you know, this letter for this other word, right? Especially when you are spelling out names and you need to make sure that they get every letter right. You will probably do that. Most likely. That's interesting because in military speak, huh? You say like Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, right? I wonder how many of those words they have in order to represent letters. Because I've seen it in Battlefield games that they use that when they want to represent the letters. I don't know why they do that. Maybe it's more clear that way, since it doesn't give that much room for interpretation. I wonder why they don't just use the Greek alphabet. I mean, if they are already using Alpha and Delta, why don't they use things like, you know, Beta or Epsilon, right? Might as well go all the way. Instead of Bravo. What the fuck is Bravo? Maybe Bravo is also a Greek letter and I'm not aware, so I don't think it is. I mean, well, certainly Charlie is not a Greek letter, I'm pretty sure. That will be pretty interesting. Imagine if you had an alphabet and one of your letters was literally Charlie. Yeah, this word is written with Charlie. That would be nice. Allow me to read that in a second. Because this guy right here loves Dan Makum. So we gotta... I fucked up regardless. I guess saying random names is more common than military. Like if you're calling some company that spells something out to you, they will generally use commonly used names. Yeah, I will assume that. They also do that here as well. I think that's like a universal thing, that they should use, you know, common names for, in order to know which letter you are spelling. Which is pretty ironic because most of the time they are spelling out a name. Like, Most of the time you use names to spell out a name. Pretty ironic. Fuck. That attack is so bullshit because it's literally impossible to dodge if you are shooting the boss and you are unlucky enough that it starts where you are. It's the only attack that it's impossible to dodge. I mean, obviously impossible to dodge if you are trying to hit the enemy. It's not impossible if you just chill in the bottom. Also, whenever you can, if you are able to hear what I say, Yami, the fact that the boss killed me after I kill him, like after the second phase, right? Was that a bug or was that intentional? Because I don't think that looked really intentional to me. Did I just get really unlucky that I just got fucked by a random ass attack right after the defeat? Or is whoever made this game such an asshole to let that happen? Looks intentional to me. This is God after all. What you mean this is God? This is the opposite of God. This is the devil. Isn't Beelzebub supposed to be like one of the incarnations of the devil or something? How is this God? Come on, bro. What you looking at me? He is. Isn't Beelzebub an incarnation of the devil, or am I a moron? Maybe I'm a moron, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a mythology expert, so I might be a moron, but I'm pretty sure this guy is supposed to be the devil. Well, I mean, even if he's not supposed to, he definitely looks like one. Like, if this guy walked to me and said I'm your god, I will probably spray, you know, some mosquito poison on his ugly face and tell him to get the fuck out. Yeah, I know that it's probably not say mosquito poison, it's probably say repellent. It's alright, don't worry about it. It's almost the same concept. It's a current occurrence on fan games that you fight God. Seems like this guy's really played a lot of Shin Megami Tensei, if that's the case. Apparently in those games, or at least according to the #1 stoner here, Riemann, you kick God's ass in every game, or something like that. Gotta be careful. This attack is pretty dangerous. Mostly because the cornering potential is really, really big. You can get really cornered. Oh, why do you have to use this one? Damn it. There we go. And he didn't shoot. Alright. Congratulations. So we got it? Or is this a shebait? You're heading right where the spikes are. Oh, this has to be a shebait. No, I can't jump. I can't use the jump button. Alright. Well, she's. If that was the end, let's not forget that in the original I Wanna Be the Guy, on the very last screen of the credits you get killed. And you have to do all that shit again. So let's not celebrate yet. But alright. If that was the game, she's. I really don't understand how this game is rated as 60 in Delicious Fruit of difficulty. If this is the game, right? Maybe I'm getting the biggest shebait of the century right here. Maybe. But attacks continuing or your controls get locked, preventing you from dodging a lingering attack, that kind of shit. Oh, that's common? Fuck. But yeah. Well, yeah, I don't understand. Why is this a 60? I mean, again, maybe this is an unfair comparison because I'm comparing the medium difficulty of this game with the hard difficulty of I Wanna Be the Guy. But I felt that I Wanna Be the Guy was way harder than this game, and yet it's rated lower. The difficulty ratings on that site are shit. Well, I mean, so far, obviously I don't have as much experience in fun games, but so far most of the difficulty ratings made sense. That's why I'm surprised that this one is a 60. This is definitely not a 60. It is way lower than that. Especially because, you know, this is a 60, but Bosch is a 67. Okay, Yami might be right here. Yeah, this might be... Okay. Oh, and it even says it there, Yayoi. Okay. Alright, I will give it to Yami that yes, that might be pretty distinctive. That might be a pretty distinctive look. Alright. Good shit. Damn, that's supposed to be Satan? Why does Satan have a halo? And then obviously Beelzebub. Wow. No. Oh, I think it was gonna attack. Fuck. Damn, I got really scared there. Motherfucker. I got really scared. Just in case I'm gonna leave the fingers in my keyboard. Especially here. I can't read that shit, dude. Come on. Something about that the evil was defeated and that the real trap was in your pants all this time. Thank you for playing. Alright, are you gonna kill me or... Nice, I didn't get killed. So for some reason, why am I here? Oh, maybe I can go to that room that was really similar to a boss selection room. Let's go there. Because I think this game has a stage or boss selection. So let's go and see if that's indeed the case. I think it is the case. There's only one way to find out. I don't even remember where it was, in all honesty. I think it was here, after a couple of screens. 70 colonoscopy, 50 cent, 70 either cancer or trivial, less than 50 trivial. Well, this game was definitely what I would personally consider trivial. And I don't... Wait a second. Why did Draynor, and I think you too, why did you shit on this game when you first saw it? You don't like this game? What's wrong with this game? Or are you just being haters? I don't know. I mean, I liked it. And in fact, I gotta say that it's one of those games that captures the feel of the original I Wanna Be the Guy really well. Like, it's one of those that it's meh. I mean, the same could be said about literally 90% of the of the fan games that are not complete trash. It's like Love Trap, I Wanna Be the Guy fan game. Oh, that's right, I didn't play Love Trap. What about it? Love Trap? Is that I think I read that Love Trap is a really bad fun game. Is that true? Oh, wait a second. Isn't that the one that has Miku at the end? The one that you mentioned? Oh, yeah, it's that one. I see. Alright. Well, that makes more sense. But, you know, I still really enjoy this game. Like, and I enjoy it the same way I enjoy I Wanna Be the Metamorphosis. Both games have a pretty big focus on the original I Wanna Be the Guy game. And that to me is definitely a lot of points. It definitely gives this game a lot of points just because of that. Because most games, I mean, they use the sprite of the kid, and you know, they just forget about it. Like everything else is basically just whatever. But this game definitely captures the feel of the original. And I know that the original is something that not many people like, but I personally really like the original, so having games that emulate that feeling, I like them. Especially since the main complaint of the original is that, you know, it doesn't have the default physics, right? Well, this one has the default physics. Alright, here we go. We got into the boss selection screen. It's pretty interesting that the two last bosses, which are the Idol Master Avoidance and you know, the other two assholes are not here. Well, everything else is here. Everyone else is here. So at least there is that. So she's really good game. Obviously, I don't think I need to say it, but definitely what I'm gonna play after this is I Wanna Be the HeavenTrap 2. Apparently, I Wanna Be the HeavenTrap 2 is easier than this one. So, you know, we can chill even a lot more. I really wonder though, as I say before, how will this game will be? Yeah, I say will twice. But how will this game be if instead of having instead of playing it in medium, we play this in hard? Because I think that way it will even be closer to my experience with I Wanna Be the Guy. Maybe that's why it has such a big difficulty rating. Maybe it's because most people played it on hard, and maybe a lot of the platforming sections were obviously a lot harder than what I played here, but I don't know. In any case, on the next stream, as I said, there's gonna be I Wanna Be the HeavenTrap 2. So yeah, that's what you can expect. So, thanks everyone a lot for watching, and I'm gonna be seeing you on the next stream with that. So yeah, take care everyone, and have a good one.